the sulphur-crested cockatoo, Cockatoo gallarita, or more commonly known as in Australia, the cocky. Sulphur-crested cockatoos are a relatively large parrot-class bird that belongs to the family Cockatooidae. Now, the sulphur-crested cockatoo that lives in Australia is the greater sulphur-crested cockatoo, not to be confused with the subspecies, like the Eleonora cockatoo, which has yellow-orange under their wings and come from the Aru Islands in East Indonesia, or the Triton cockatoo, which has blue rings around its eyes, a large beak, and comes from New Guinea, or the yellow-crested cockatoo, which has yellow cheeks and comes from East Timor, the Sulawesi island of Indonesia, or the Lesser Sundas Islands. Sulphur-crested cockatoos are 44 to 55 centimeters in length, from head to tail. They weigh around 800 to 950 grams, and have a wingspan of 103 centimeters. Cockatoos have zygodactyl feet, which means 2 toes pointing forward and 2 toes pointing backwards, which are good for climbing. Interestingly, most cockatoos are left-footed. Though sexes are similar, the female can be separated at close range by her brighter red-brown eye, which is darker in the males. Fun fact, they can reach a speed of up to 70 kilometers per hour. Sulphur-crested cockatoos are found throughout the northern and eastern mainland and Tasmania. A small population has also become established around Perth. They have also been introduced to New Zealand and Indonesia. Cockatoos naturally live in timbered habitats, but are common around human settlements, as they have adapted very well to city life. Cockatoos are non-migratory birds and will stay in the same area all year round. But they do move around a lot in their territories, so good luck finding them when you need them. Cockatoos have a large curved black beak, though it appears grey because of a powdering of white dust which they use for grooming their feathers. They use this strong beak to eat a diet of seeds, nuts, roots, berries, leaf buds, some insects, and their larvae. They've also been seen to eat clay, which helps with digestion. Though in my experience with feeding them, they'll treat fruit like it doesn't exist and refuse to eat anything that isn't sunflower seeds. However, wild cockatoos have been seen to open up bin lids, then proceed to eat the garbage. They will even open up kids' school bags and steal their lunch boxes. There is no end to the sulphur-crested cockatoo's cheekiness. When not feeding, cockatoos will bite off smaller branches and leaves from trees. They don't eat them, but this activity helps to keep their beak trimmed and from growing too large. Cockatoo breeding season varies on the location within Australia. August to January in the south and May to September in the north. Cockatoos will only breed once per year. When the breeding season starts, the males will fight amongst each other for the attention of the females. During courtship, the male will approach a female with extended wings, widely spread tail feathers, and an erect crest. He will also nod his head up and down, swing side to side, while producing a low clucking sound. Once the two birds have formed a connection, they'll preen and scratch each other as a way to strengthen their bond. Cockatoos are monogamous birds that form lasting bonds. Their nest is usually in a high tree hollow, often near water, which is then prepared by both the male and female cockatoo. The female will lay 1 to 3 eggs, and both birds will incubate them for around 27 to 30 days. The chicks emerge covered in pale yellow down, with their eyes closed. At around 70 days, the chicks are ready to leave the nest, but will continue to stay with the parents as family units will stay together. Reproductive maturity for both males and females can be as young as 3, though 5 to 6 is more common. Apparently even as late as 8, though websites are quite diverse with this number. Cockatoos can live for up to 20 to 40 years in the wild, and in captivity they are known to live for around 70 years to even 100 years. At the Sydney Royal Botanic Gardens, there is currently a study called the Wing Tags Program, which is used to identify and track birds' behaviour in order to learn more about them. There are 100 tagged cockatoos with unique names and numbers, which you can report in the Big City Birds app. Majority of birds have proven to be extremely sight-faithful and predictable in their short-range movements. Cockatoos are a dominant pop culture icon and probably the most recognisable Australian bird. Though they don't have the many memes of the ibis, they do have a place in Australian iconography, and are often featured on merchandise, such as toys, ornaments, or souvenirs, and even other cool things if you know where to look. There are even 3 slang terms with reference to the cockatoo. Calling someone a cockatoo is slang for the lookout person who keeps an eye out while the others do some illegal activity. which comes from the common behaviour of cockatoos, where one will be in the trees watching for predators while the others eat on the ground. Then at the sight of danger, the lookout cockatoo will squawk loudly, calling for the flock to evacuate, which is where you get the slang. There is also another term called the cocky farmer, which is used to describe a small-scale farmer in Australia. This terminology arose in the 1870s and is an abbreviation of cockatoo farmer, which is a mocking term for a small-scale farmer, likely because they'd use a small area of land for a short amount of time before quickly moving on, in the similar manner of cockatoos feeding. Cocky's joy is also Australian slang for golden syrup. Please do not feed golden syrup to cockatoos. According to the IUCN, the global population of cockatoos has not been quantified. In some parts of Australia they can be very abundant and also be considered a pest. On farms they cause damage to cereal and fruit crops. Then in backyards you'll often see them plucking ripe fruit off a tree and dropping it after only one bite. They are also known to do thousands of dollars worth of property damage to timber decking and panelling because, well, they like to chew wood. Oh, they are very destructive and cheeky. Cockatoos are extremely intelligent and often kept as pets, and can also be taught to talk. They have a high-pitched voice and can memorize around 30 words. However, disclaimer, I do not recommend owning a cockatoo as a pet, as though they are cute and fluffy marshmallows, they are extremely loud, and they will chew everything. Seriously, you can't hide anything from them. They can fly, and they can open drawers and cupboards, even with baby proofing. So just enjoy them in parks, and if you don't live around them, watch videos online or download a virtual pets game. You know, from my jokes you'd probably think that I actually have cockatoos as pets. Well, I don't, but the wild ones sure cause enough shenanigans. I love them.